There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. My name's Rob. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending the next 45 minutes with you during this lunchtime presentation. If you have any questions, you're welcome to come speak to us after we're done. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on the live stream. We have a little reminder up called Spring Vision. There are 84 days left of spring. If you don't know what Spring Vision is, for the wealth engineers that are here or tuned in, make sure you're aware of Spring Vision. It was a dev seminar that Brendan ran a couple of weeks ago with a whole roadmap to success during spring. Alrighty, so let's begin. Like I said, you're at our head office here at DuePoint. We're actually a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa, founded in 1952. That's their building in the background, their logo. They've been around for a very long time. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there in the foyer above the water cooler. You'll notice all these certificates up on the wall. Those are FSP licenses. We've got a long and short-term insurance license, an investment license, our FSP license. We've got our accreditation with the Direct Marketing and the Direct Selling Association, so go take a look at that. We take credibility obviously very seriously here at DuePoint, and that should be a tick in your box in terms of credibility, because if we are proposing any business partnership, it's obviously very important that the business you're looking at is one that you trust and that you find credible. The individuals involved here, at least the senior executives and the management team here at DuePoint, are the people you see on the screen. It's my presentation, so I generally tell everyone that the photographers arranged everyone in terms of shortest to tallest, ugliest to best looking. Can you see that? Can you see what the photographer did? We start with the accountants on the short and ugly side. So the three individuals on the far left are all registered chartered accountants of South Africa. Starting with Brendan. Brendan's our senior executive. He heads up this division. Very lucky because he's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance. His family have been involved in insurance his entire life. His father's actually a professor of insurance, taught at Wits for 25 years. His father founded clientele among a host of financial service-based businesses around the world. So they've had a lot of success in that space. Brendan and his brother Stuart went on to follow in their father's footsteps. They, along with him and another business, founded Prime Meridian Direct, PMD, which is a very successful short-term insurer. It's been around for just over a decade. I think they're now the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country. So we're very lucky to have Brendan leading this division. Tim Reynolds got a lot of experience in corporate banking. He was with the First Rand Group for about a decade and a half. He heads up our auditing, the accounting, and the regulatory aspects in our business. Stacey supports him in that role. She's got a lot of experience in auditing. She was with Deloitte all her working career in South Africa as well as overseas in Luxembourg before she came back to South Africa and joined the team here. So those are the boring accountants. On to the interesting people over here. Jane's just standing really far back. She's actually a lot taller. She's about that tall. You'll see her at reception. She's the smile of DuePoint. She's got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling. She brings a lot of international experience with her. She's from the UK, from York to be specific. She's been in South Africa for about 10 years. Even though we're an insurance business, our growth is predicated around our success through this mechanism of network marketing or through direct selling, or whatever you want to call it. So Jane brings all of that experience with her. Then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising most of my career. I started my own business at a fairly young age. I think I was about 23. It was mid-90s. I started a digital agency that had a good amount of success, I would guess. I like to tell everyone we didn't retrench everyone. We paid everyone salaries for almost 20 years, so I can deem that a successful business, I think. But I exited that business, and I'll touch on that a little later. So these are the individuals here. We very much get involved with the people that join our business in this proposed partnership. We don't hide in our offices. Again, I hope that we add credibility to the offering. And also to know that our mandate here as staff of DuePoint is to support the people that join us in this partnership. We don't just make the platform available and disappear. We have a vested interest in your success, and that again I think is a check in the tick box of looking at this partnership, knowing that the people, the company that you're partnering with, want to see you effective and successful in this endeavor. Okay, so that's a little bit of background around us. At this part of the presentation, I generally discuss some of the driving behavior, why people would be here at a lunchtime. business presentation. I'm sure there are way better things to be doing at lunchtime. I know I could be out having lunch, maybe across the road. But we find ourselves here in the head office in Bryanston because there's certain driving factors that push us to looking at entrepreneurial opportunities. All right? So the person that invited you here might have alluded to, well, I assume they alluded to financial opportunity. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here unless you think the tea and coffee is really good or it's too expensive where you are and worth the drive out here. But I don't think that. So what are the driving factors? What pushes us to look at something extra? Because this certainly is going to take sacrifice, right? You realize that getting involved in something else is going to require some time, sacrificing time to get involved in something like this. So the driving factors are typically negative, unfortunately, because if employment was the answer to all our issues, you wouldn't be here. So the economy is certainly a driving factor. It influences a whole host of aspects in our lives. We look at unemployment sitting at 9.3 million people sitting at home, able and willing to work, doing nothing every day. That's got to drive you crazy. We're in an economy that's in recession. So when we so desperately need to be creating jobs, we're actually doing the opposite. We are losing jobs at the moment in this economy. We look at the rate of inflation, which is fairly high. It's around about 7%. Food inflation is sitting at 11%. Do you realize food is doubling in price every 7 to 8 years at the moment? Absolutely frightening. So all of these factors kind of affect us directly. It's very frustrating because we have no control over the economy. There's absolutely nothing one of us are going to do that's suddenly going to change the economy. And as employees, we find ourselves in this position again where we have very little control over our income. In the state of affairs of our economy, odds are you didn't get an increase for the last 7 years in line with inflation. So I often ask the audience, who's been getting an increase around 7, 8% every year for the last 7 years? And generally no one puts their hand up. But inflation hasn't changed. The cost of living is still rising at 7% a year. And so our income starts falling away from what the cost of living is. And this gap starts appearing. And unfortunately, as South Africans, what we try to do is we try to band-aid the gap with this thing called debt, right? Which is the worst thing to do. Because there's no way in fixing that, right? If you're not making ends meet, using debt to try to remedy your situation is not going to solve any of your issues. Okay, so debt is actually a crippling factor with regards to our personal finance, because what's happening without us realizing is we're getting closer to this D-Day called retirement. Right? Retirement's the same as retrenchment. The one your company has a party for you, the other one the boss doesn't come to, he hides away that month that you get retrenched in, right? But the effect is the same. At the end of the month, you're not getting an income. And you certainly have to address your personal finance so that you're in a position one day when you do retire that you're able to carry on living. So this is some data that was published on the Fin24 website. It illustrates retirement planning beautifully. It is the article that was written was actually predicated on the rising mortality rate, which is the fact that people are living longer. And if you're living longer, you need to have a greater investment base, because if you retire at 60 and you're only dying at 90, well, your retirement needs to cater to that fact, right? People today, on average in South Africa, are dying at the age of 74. They only needed to have saved for 15 years of average. But people sitting in the room now, we're going to live to 80, to 90. They think kids being born today are going to live well past 100 years of age. South Africa, we've got over 4,000 people over the age of 100, right? And so this increasing mortality rate affects our retirement planning. So we've got 3 columns here. Each column is headed by a number. The number is the income that you would derive if you had an investment in place by the time you retire, right? So I assume most of us appreciate how retirement planning works. What you're going to do is you're going to save money for your lifetime while you're working. And then when the time comes, when you retire, you'll have this nest egg, this investment, this retirement annuity sitting there that'll pay you out an income. If you're in the position where you've saved R1 million, it'll pay you out 5,000 Rand. If you're in the position where you've saved 5 million Rand, it'll pay you out about 26,000 Rand for the next 30 years. So from the age of 60 to the age of 90, you'll enjoy that income. Right? So now I'm going to ask you 2 questions, but I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to give you a little hint. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. You can't say no to both questions. Right? So I'm just giving you a heads up now. Can't say no to both. Can only say no to one. So the first question is, who can survive on 5,000 Rand a month once they're retired? No one? I read an article on nutrition in South Africa, and the professor that wrote the article said that the average family of 4 currently today needs to spend minimum of 7,000 Rand a month on groceries just to feed a family of 4. How are you going to survive on 5,000 Rand a month? Okay, so now everyone's answered no to the first question. See, now you've put yourself in the corner. Are you ready for the second question? Who is actively saving towards R1 million currently? There's always one person, right? Which matches the statistics that we get from the FSB, because it's only 1 or 2% of the population that does that. Do you see the problem that we face as South Africans? 50% of people in South Africa are under debt, or that have debt, which is pretty much all of us, we've got some form of debt, or under debt review. That means 50% of the population is unable to meet the cost of living requirements and honor the debt that they have. Half the population. The statistics are frightening. And when we're in an economy that is in recession, things are not going to get better, unfortunately. So that is the end of all the negativity. We call these driving factors. This is why you're sitting here. The person that spoke to you of some financial opportunity put some hope in your heart, thinking that you could come listen to some business presentation that perhaps could change your circumstance. And that's what I'm going to be discussing with you. And at the end of the presentation, I hope you'll have enough information to make an informed decision about DuePoint. So out of all that negativity, we as a business, as an enterprise, actually saw opportunity to create a platform, which is called the DuePoint system. The platform is the ability for the average South African to engage with us, to partner with us, and change their circumstance. We've got 3 aspirations for our wealth engineers. The first aspiration is to see people actually become debt-free. We want you to become debt-free. Now I want your imagination to run wild, because imagine what it means to be debt-free, completely debt-free. I love at the end of the month, because we can all connect on this. At the end of the month, what happens? We get that one SMS. Ding, ding, right? Your phone, and you look at your phone and it says, salary paid. Great. And then what happens after that? Another 20 SMSs. Ding, 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 ding. Like, jeez, emergency. Oh no, it's my debit orders. Right? That happens to all of us. Now imagine being debt-free. You get one SMS from your employer, one SMS from DuePoint for the return that we pay you at the end of the month, and that's it. No more SMSs. The car you drive, you own. The house you live in, you own. You pay for your kids' education a year up front. In January, you pay for the whole year. You're one of those parents. You want to be one of those parents? Pay up front. That's the position we want to see you in. And that leads you on to the second aspiration that we have for our wealth engineers in this business, and that's to see you start investing in assets and investments. Because that's where wealth is created. Wealth is not created earning a salary, paying for the cost of living, paying for debt, getting to retirement, being one of the 98% that suddenly realize they're not going to be able to live retirement, right? You're going to have to go find a job where there's 9.3 million other people looking for jobs. And that leads on to the third aspiration, and that's just to see us all happier. We don't want to see you stressed at the end of the month, stressed through December and January like the rest of us. So those are the 3 aspirations we have for our wealth engineers. How does this work? As guests, the guests here this afternoon, you've got the opportunity to join DuePoint. You contract with us. We call you wealth engineers, and as wealth engineers, we only want you to do one thing, and that's to go out and build what we call channels of distribution, and I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like. The benefit for you is that you get to create additional income. This is obvious. This is why you're sitting here. The nature of the income that you produce here is one of recurring nature. Recurring income is actually something that's inherent to insurance companies. This is the primary reason why I left my company that I started. I walked away. I didn't get a cent from it. I just walked away. I just said, I can't do this anymore. 17 years I ran that business, but we couldn't create recurring income. Recurring income is something that gets created when you have asset that has value, right? So if you own a house, well, let's say a second house, because you live in the first house. You don't want to rent out the rooms in the house you own. You own a second house, and if you rent out that second house, that's an asset that starts deriving recurring income for you. You don't have to do work every single day to derive that income. It's an asset that you own. So similarly in this business, you get to create an asset that will create recurring income. What does this mean? It means that the effort that you put in at the beginning of this business, so let's take September for example. If you build this asset up a little bit in September, it'll pay you out a recurring income regardless of your effort going forward, right? So this is what we want to do. This is a huge benefit. The power duplication. We've built the system so that you can harness the power duplication. You can leverage your effort Because what you're doing when I say you're going to build channels of distribution, what you actually have the ability to do is go out and build very effective teams that will collaborate with you. And those teams, if they collaborate with you, are actually collaborating towards building your asset that will get bigger and pay you out a greater recurring income. This is a flexi-time business. Do not be confused. We are not talking about losing weight here or stopping smoking or doing whatever, one of those New Year's resolutions. We are talking about saving your life, in essence, right? And it needs to be treated as such. So when I say it's a flexi time, don't think, I can do it when I feel like it, I can do it when I've got spare time. No, this is a business. At the end of this presentation, if this is something you want to do, at the same time you need to decide how does DuePoint fit into your life. You need to schedule it into your week. I don't care what it looks like, but it needs to be Saturdays off for DuePoint, Sundays off for DuePoint. Every evening of the week is for DuePoint. That's where it's flexi time. You can decide where you want to fit it in, but if you want to really make this work, if you want to make a success out of it, you need to decide how you schedule it in regularly into your life. And it might require sacrificing other aspects of your life. There's no startup capital. There's no registration fees to become a DuePoint wealth engineer. We make this business extremely low risk. There's no bulk products that you have to buy to get started in this business, right? There's no 12-month or 24-month contract that you signed into forever that you can't get out of. You can come and go as you like in this business. No one is holding you. No qualifications or experience required. This is notable because we work within the financial space. We are regulated by the FSB and the FASE Act. Extremely painful and onerous regulation, believe me, right? It'll give anyone grey hairs. You can see how Brendan's going grey already. The guy's only 22. Joking. But it is. But we actually contract you out of that obligation. So you don't have to worry about any of that regulation. But you can still enjoy the benefits of being involved in financial services. You get to build an asset. Now, this is another very important benefit because this is actually the antithesis of employment. In employment, we will spend 40, 45 years working for somebody else, building someone else's asset. And we do so happily, right? Almost like sheep. In this business, there's time that you're going to be sacrificing, that you've decided to sacrifice every week. Know that it is going towards building an asset that you have legal tender to. You have ownership over this channel of distribution that you build. And so you can sell it on. You can give it to your kids. You can seed it to your beneficiaries. You can move it into a family trust, right? There's no selling involved. Now, this might confuse a couple of people. So the person that invited you here say there's no selling involved, and then you got very confused and thought, just what kind of scheme have they come up with now? Right? Again, we contract you out of selling. You're not allowed to sell, and this is a benefit for you, because who likes to sell, right? Who wants to go out and try to convince people to buy something? You're not going to be doing that. You're going to be going out and telling people about the business opportunity. It is become the most valuable commodity in South Africa at the moment, is business opportunity. When we're in a circumstance, in an environment, in an economy like we're in, I want to know about business opportunity. I don't want to know about product that you want to be peddling to me, right? The nature of our products are intangible. They're financial products. This is great because you don't have to bring your uncle's bucky to load up product to go sell on the weekend, right? It doesn't take up space in your garage or at home. There's no expiry date on our products. We never run out of them. We don't have stock or distribution issues. So we make this business as convenient as possible for people to get involved with. And this is all dependent on you and your ability to go out and build these channels of distribution. So this is what it looks like. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer. You're going to go out and tell people about the business opportunity. If you're successful in that, and we have people joining as wealth engineers and taking out one of our products, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. And these people that you introduce to DuePoint that become wealth engineers are going to do exactly the same thing you do. They also want to change their circumstance. They join because of the business opportunity. And so they'll go out and do exactly the same thing. When I speak about building a team that collaborates with you, building an effective team, you want to build an effective team because they will be the root of your business, right? Think of it as your board of executives. You're going to let anyone off the street become one of your board of executives? No, you're going to go out and find very effective people that can work with you. And if you're effective in that, this is what we want your channel to look like after some time. We talk about leverage, the power of duplication. You could be in a position in 3, 4, 5 years' time where you could take 3 months holiday. and DuePoint will pay you a return every single month while you're sitting on the beach. Right? You probably never thought of that. Because when you think of leave, you think, oh, when can I take leave? How much leave do I have? Will my boss be happy because I'm taking leave during the busiest time of the year? Those issues, right? Again, this is one of the upsides to entrepreneurship, is that you have control of your income and your life and your time. But it takes work. I didn't say, oh, you can do it next month. I said 5 years' time. Right? My disclaimer slide. So some of you might have thought, oh, I've been invited to one of these schemes. Right? We are not one of these schemes. We're a insurance company that is nearly 7 decades old. We are listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a company or group called Conduit Capital. We've got very reputable individuals that work in this business. This is an authentic business opportunity. I laugh. Brendan always jokes and says, people worry that we're a get-rich-quick scheme, but they're hoping that we are. Because you want to get rich quick, don't you? Right? That would be nice. It does not exist, by the way. It doesn't exist. So at the same time, we'll never promise you success in this business quickly. If you've ever had the opportunity to start and try run and make a success out of a business, you'll appreciate how difficult it is. 95% of new businesses fail in the first 12 months. Those are horrible odds. This is something you're going to have to work at. I've already said you need to schedule this in. You need to sacrifice. You need to have a long-term outlook. Don't be one of these millennials with short-term outlooks. You'll set yourself up for disappointment because you'll have expectations in the short term, and I promise you, you won't meet short-term expectation. You'll get frustrated and then you quit. If you have a long-term expectation, if you've got a big enough why you're doing this, got the long-term commitment, the short-term frustration doesn't bother you. All right? So that's my disclaimer slide, a warning. Let's talk about the money. How do we pay our wealth engineers? We pay our wealth engineers. Well, there's actually 2 ways to benefit as a wealth engineer. The one is through the returns program, which we're going to discuss now. The other is through a rewards program. So the returns program is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month, depending on the product that they have in their channel, right? So we pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that you have in your channel. Remember the first 5 people you introduced to the business? These people lie on your first point. And on your first point, we actually pay you double the R27.50. So you get R55 for every product. Onto the second point, which is 2 people away from you, again, R55. And then the multiplier starts to drop back to 100%, and it keeps dropping all the way down to 0.8. So people that are 8 points away from you, you're earning 4% of the R27.50. But we don't stop you there. We don't limit you there. Because you can build your channel beyond 0.8. I mean, we're talking long-term expectation. You could be here 10, 15, 20, 30 years. What's your channel going to look like after 30 years? We will keep paying you the 4% from 0.8 in theory into infinity. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We won't limit you on how much you can earn at DuePoint. The accountability lies with you, right? So this is the mechanics of the returns. The next question you get is, well, how much money can I earn after a certain amount of time? R55 is great. But give me some context. What do people earn here at DuePoint? So what we did was we built this path to success. This is purely theory. It's built on a growth formula that we call 3 + 2. It assumes that a brand new wealth engineer in the first month can bring 3 people into the business. Not 5, just 3. And then every consecutive month thereafter, you only have to bring in another 2. So in October, you're going to bring another 2. November, another 2. December, another 2. And you keep doing that into perpetuity. This is what you can expect to earn. After 6 months, you could be earning R2,500 a month. No one ready to walk out. Is that too much? Too little? R2,500, 6 months worth of work? Let me give you some context. Because what I've realized is that even for me, I look at money from a consumer point of view, right? If you say to me, R2,500, I say, oh, what can I buy with R2,500? A pair of Nikes you can't even buy. Now, Nikes are now 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, right? At least the ones I want. So we always look at things in terms of price, right? Consumer pricing. We think like employees, right? People earning salaries. What can I buy? We need to start thinking like entrepreneurs, giving money future value. Because that's what we are really trying to do here, is build assets. Assets are about future value. Recurring income is about future value. R2,500, here's someone with R1 million bond. They owe the bank R1 million. They've decided to pay that amount off over 20 years. At the current interest rate, they're going to be paying about R11,500 a month. For 20 years, I'm 40 now, I pay my house off as I get retired. At 60, I become a homeowner for the first time. But I joined DuePoint. 6 months later, with some success, I'm earning 2,500 rand. Rob says, don't buy the Nikes. Pay your debt off as quickly as possible. So I go, okay, I'll put the 2,500 rand into my bond. Massive debt that I have. What's the net effect of that? That little 2,500 rand. It will reduce my bond term from 20 years to 11 and a half years. I've nearly halved the term of my bond. I've saved myself R1 million in repayments. Crazy, right? But how much maturity does that require? To go, I don't want to buy a nicer car or, get some nicer clothes or whatever. I'm going to put the money boringly into the bond as an additional payment. That's so boring. But look at the effect that it has. After 12 months, you could be earning in excess of 100,000 rand annually in recurring income. Anyone looking forward to a 100,000 rand bonus at the end of this financial year from the employers? No one? No one? Just work harder. So you work harder, you don't even get the raise. After 24 months, you're on about 30,000 rand. That is life-changing. It doesn't matter how much money you earn. You could be earning 200,000 rand a month. Like offer you an extra 30,000 rand, that becomes attractive to anyone. At the 30-month mark, you put the 36,000 rand that you're getting into a 5 million rand bond. You'll pay that house off in less than 7 years. So again, at my age, 40, at 47, I can pay my first house off. Buy another house. At the age of 54, I pay the second house off, buy a third house. By the age of 61, I've paid off 3 houses to the value of 5 million rand. 30 months away. What were we doing 30 months ago? 30 months ago, what were we doing? Probably the same thing you were doing today. Right? After 36 months, you're close to 50,000 rand a month. After 48 months, you are closing in on 70,000 rand a month. And after 60 months, short 5 years, you've created for yourself about R1 million in recurring income annually. R1 million over and above your salary. I always laugh. I think, when do I tell Brendan what I really think about him in this process? Can I tell him at month 40, maybe month 50? Huh? When do you have the luxury of telling your boss what you really think about him or her? When your flexi-time job is paying you double your salary, maybe then, right? But this is academic, right? This is based on this growth model that I explained about, 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 into perpetuity. It's just an example. It's theory, something that the accountants came up with that we thought was quite clever. You can do certainly a lot less than that. We've got a lot of people doing less than that. I call them the 0 plus 0 growth formula club. It's not a good club to be in. But you can do more than that. So we showcase a lot of wealth engineers that are doing way more than 3 plus 2, just to prove to you that it can be done, right? So you can be happy with 3 plus 2. You don't have to grow at 3 plus 2. It's just an example. But if you want more, it's completely up to you. If you want to spend 2-3 hours a day in DuePoint, that's completely up to you. The accountability lies with you. So yeah, we got Mlu. He's actually not from Johannesburg. I think he was born in Johannesburg, but he resides in King Williamstown. Joined in November last year. Admittedly, he didn't do anything for months, and he only got involved at the beginning of the year. He got to 3,500 rand by June. In a single month, he jumped that by another 1,000 rand to 4,500 rand. And then halfway through August, we were running debit orders to the value of 10,000 rand in his channel, where we beg for 7% annually. Right? Laughable. Take control of your own income. If Mlu works harder, he earns more. What happens at work? You work harder, you mention overtime, your boss gives you that look. Overtime, what you talking about? Right? Songi Kwamashu KZN joined in April. That was like a few months ago. 4,000 by June. Nearly 6,000 a month later. 12,000 halfway through August. Sia Madadeni, also KZN, joined in February. 2.2, nearly 5,000 by June. Similar to Zongi, 12,000 already. Are you thinking, oh, what can I spend that money on? No, don't think like that. Think like this. By June, so February, March, April, May, June. In 5 months, you got to nearly 5,000 rand. How much money do you need to have sitting in an investment to derive a 5,000 rand income every month? $1 million. You needed to have saved R1 million over your lifetime. We're talking 40 years, saving 800 rand a month That'll put you in a position where you've saved R1 million. That'll pay you out R5,000 a month. Sia did it in 5 months. In 5 months, he created a cash equivalent of R1 million sitting in an investment account for himself. Because it's recurring income. He's getting more the next month. Donnie's with us. He's at the back here today. You can ask him if he's an actor or if he's a real-life person, a real-life wealth engineer. He joined us the day we launched the business, right? Has been working at it. Month in, month out. 25,000 Rand already. He achieved rank 9, which I'll tell you about shortly. Awesome achievement. It is available for everyone. This platform is the same for every single person, whether you've got matric or not, whether you've got corporate experience or not, whether you're a pensioner or whether you're 18 years old. The platform is exactly the same for every single person. The opportunity is the same. You want equal opportunity? This is it. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. The accountability lies with you. Right? So this requires maturity. It requires some form of leadership and accountability to make a decision for yourself that I'm doing this. And I'm committing so much time, week in, week out, into this business. At work, you come late for work, you get a written warning. And then another written warning. And then another written warning. And then you join the 9.3 million unemployed after your disciplinary process, right? There's no disciplinary process here. If you don't do this business, I promise you don't get a phone call from any of us. We just go, oh, you remember that one person? No. Accountability lies with us. We've got hundreds of wealth engineers that we pay every single month that have created income over and above their salaries that give them more options. They've got a little more control over their income than they did before they joined DuePoint. Completely up to us. So this is the returns program. This is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month. The second way to benefit is through our rewards program. Right? So the rewards program works like this. You become a wealth engineer, you start doing wealth engineer things, like coming to presentations, bringing guests with you, logging to your website, watching training videos. There's a whole plethora of different activities. And when you do these activities, we give you something called XP. It means experience points. It's an indicator of how active you are as a wealth engineer. And when you're collecting XP and your business is starting to grow, your channel's starting to grow, we reward you along the way for that success, right? So if you join today, you'll start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. You're still part of the 0+0 club, but you can get to rank 1 very quickly. I reckon you can get there in 24 hours because you only need 1,000 XP. You only need 4 products in your channel. And if you do that, we give you an extra 55 Rand once off at the end of that month to say, well done on getting to rank 1. Keep going. And then you go for rank 2 and rank 3. And as you rank up, the rewards get bigger and better. You can see 400 Rand, 15, 20,000, 50,000 Rand. We give away tools at certain ranks that make you more effective in building your channel, that help you, that promote your business. So here at rank 5, we get these special little lightning memory stick devices. The beauty of these devices is that they plug into anything. Anything. You can plug them into cell phones, into tablets, into laptops, computers, TVs. So Patrick and Pumi can show people the DuePoint opportunity, because all our video collateral sitting on that USB stick. They can show the opportunity to anyone regardless of what device they have around them. At rank 7, we get these premium business cards manufactured. There's no ink on these business cards. The edges and the logo are gilded in gold. They're 4 times thicker than any other business card. They feel like black suede. They cost 12,500 Rand a set if you're getting 2 sets printed at once. If you only get 1 set printed, 24,000 Rand for 1,000 cards. If you ask Donnie very nicely, he'll let you touch one of his business cards. Why do we spend so much money on business cards? Because this business is about first impressions, like most businesses. That's why I say to our wealth engineers, you dress professionally, you speak professionally, you behave professionally. When you give someone a 25,000 Rand business card, your credibility jumps about 10 rungs because your business card is about 50 times more expensive than the one they have in their business, in their back pocket. It's about first impressions. We help you along the way. We're trying to promote you and make you more effective. At rank 9, this is what Donnie achieved last month. DuePoint takes on rank 9 and above wealth engineers away on an international conference every single year, once you rank 9. That is 7 days away to a 5-star luxury resort. We take you and your family with us, business class flights. Every year. Think about that. Think about your kids taking selfies in business class. Not once off. Every year. Think about how life-changing that is. You might think, oh, that's just a great holiday. I say to my wife, Mauritius, Umhlanga rocks, it's the same thing. There's the waves, there's the sand, the kids. At least everyone speaks English in Umhlanga rocks. Why do you want to go to Mauritius? But let me tell you, when you're in the position where you can take your family on a business class trip once a year, your children will think differently about life. They understand opportunity on a different level to families that have never been afforded that luxury. Right? So take a look at where we're going. This has been booked already for December. This happens every year. You won't make it this year, unless, I don't know. But it's going to happen next year, and you can get there next year. There's equal opportunity for everyone in the room.
Has gone and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand all at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that's footage of the actual resort that we booked at. Right? You want to be there? I want to be there. You can go Google it, the Western Turtle Bay. Make sure you're sitting down if you click on the prices page. Opportunity for everyone. We've already got a host of families that have qualified this year alone for rank 9. More the merrier, right? Available to everybody. At rank 11, we spent R250,000 on a brand new car and presented to the wealth engineer to drive off with no debit order at the end of the month for them. Can you see that we want to get you to debt-free status? You're driving the car that you're not paying for. You're going on the business class trip once a year that you're not paying for. Are you helping yourself by paying off your debt, or are you just buying nicer shoes? It's a personal decision you've got to make. So that's the rewards. That's the second benefit. We actually have a third benefit here at DuePoint for our wealth engineers. So this is something that we do every month. It's called the Wealth Quest, that little pink WQ you see in the top left corner there. And every month we issue out a different challenge to our wealth engineers to kind of incentivize them, to encourage them a little more. This month, September's Wealth Quest is called Expand Your Empire, where we challenge you to find new wealth engineers in provinces other than your own. Right? Expand your empire. And if you're successful in that, if you can get those wealth engineers qualified, you'll have a brand new iPhone in your hands by the end of next month. Not a tool just to sit on Facebook, a tool to do business with. Everything is about business here at DuePoint. Everything. Okay. So that's the wealth quest. We often get asked the question, how does DuePoint afford all of this? Well, this basically illustrates our business model. Traditional insurance companies spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising through client acquisition. DuePoint doesn't do any marketing and advertising. You won't see our logo outside of this building. We depend on our wealth engineers to go tell people about the DuePoint opportunity. And so instead of spending the billions that the traditional insurance industry spends on client acquisition, we take that portion of our premium and we pay it to our wealth engineers, to our partners, in the form of these returns and rewards. Okay. We've got 3 products. The first one is called the Access Wealth Plan. This plan is actually made up of 2 products. The first is a tax-free investment account. The plan costs 299 Rand a month, but of that, 100 Rand will be invested into this investment account. The second product is accident cover. So it's personal accident cover to the value of 110,000 Rand. So we bundle these 2 products into the Access Wealth Plan. The investment is not a fixed or notice deposit, so you can draw that investment out at any stage. All right, so that's product number 1. This is an investment product. Product number 2 is called Wealth Guard. This is an insurance product. This is personal accident cover only to the value of 1.1 million Rand. It's 274 Rand a month. The beauty of our personal accident cover products is that we don't evaluate you from a risk point of view. So it's not like life insurance where they want to know everything about you and then price your risk accordingly. We can bring anyone into the business. Over the age of 18, your risk is the same to us. So you can be 80 years old, diabetic, you can take out this product, the premium remains the same, the amount of cover remains the same. Product number 3 is called the Wealth Points Buyers Club program. It is 274 Rand a month. In this product, we aim to save you money that you're spending every month anyway. So we've got a list of partners that you see over there. Some are retail partners. We've got Eagle Ford over there, the entertainer, host of different suppliers. We've negotiated discounts with these suppliers that we share with our Wealth Points Buyers Club members. So if you're looking for immediate benefit out of any of the products, this is it. I mean, always on Wi-Fi data, you can get a gig for 36 Rand. Eagle Ford, you get the best deal that they have at Eagle Ford. That'll save you a fortune. The entertainer's got 1.3 million Rands worth of vouchers to restaurants around the country, hotels around the world. Awesome product if you're familiar with it. And then we've got the big retailers, ShopRite, Checkers, Takealot, Hirsch's, Yuppie Chef over there. So we're adding partners all the time to this program. If you have any questions on the products, come speak to me. I remind you of the support that you get here as a wealth engineer. Do not become engaged in this business and then think you can do it on your own. Everything that we do here is to support the wealth engineers. So we've set up facilities, technology, all kinds of things. Find out what it is and get plugged into it. It'll make you a lot more effective a lot sooner in this business. The decision slide. I hope you've made a decision already. I'm not going to go harping on about all the benefits again, right? We are here looking at an opportunity in hope that we're going to change our circumstance. Like they say, you can drag the horse to the water, right? It's a decision you need to make. You're here in the first place, so I assume you need this, right? You need something. Like Brendan says, if not this, then what? What are we going to do? We've made this business as risk-free as possible, right? So you can get engaged in it and not feel like you're locked in for 12 months or 24 months. You can come and go as you like in this business, but you have to make it work. Give it the chance. You've seen that other people are making a success out of it. Have a long-term goal. Don't have short-term expectation. Commit at least a year to this process to see if it works for you. Even if you only get to 300 Rand a month, right? That's worth something, isn't it? How much is that worth in the bank? A couple of 100,000 sitting in the bank if you get to 300 Rand a month. Okay. We make joining very easy. It's all the technology that we've invested in. So we've got iPads out in the breakout rooms. If you've got your own smartphone on your tablet on you, jump onto the homepage, click on the blue apply button. It's an application form that you go through that's online. It takes you about 7 minutes. Bam, you're a wealth engineer. In 7 minutes, you can start aiming for rank 1 by tomorrow. Can you do that? I challenge everybody. No one comes to me and says, I got to rank 1 in 24 hours. No one's come to me yet. I'll buy you breakfast if you do that. Right? So do it. Make that your target. Today's Friday, rank 1 by Monday. We've got merchandise. It's not a profit center for us. Please consider getting business cards. I know you want to get the flashy black cards, but don't discriminate. Get the white ones in between rank 1 and rank 7, right? Like I say, you've got to be professional in this business. This is a business that we're speaking about. So consider the business cards. All the merchandise is on display in the cabinet. The pricing's on the counter. We are going to Durban very shortly. So on the 16th of September, we'll be in Durban. I think this is booked out, but there were some naughty people that did multiple bookings, which they weren't allowed to do. So I think we're going to make another tranche of seats available for Durban. So tying in with this month's Expand Your Empire quest, if you've got people in KZN, make sure they're going to this, right? Because you could start an entire business down in KZN that collaborates with you. We've got a YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. It'll let you know every time we do a live stream, every time a new video is loaded. Everything is on this YouTube channel. If you want to see what DuePoint's been doing for the last 2 years, jump onto the YouTube channel. It is all on there. Once you become a wealth engineer, download the mobile app. This literally allows you to run your business from the palm of your hand. That app will reflect in real time what is happening in your business. You can wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and see people that have joined your channel while you were sleeping. You know what my dad calls that? Making money while you sleep. That's why we're here. Building assets is the ability to make money while you sleep. That app will tell you that it's happening or not. Guys, I thank you for your time. We are done. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you have any questions, come speak to me out in the foyer. Enjoy.